there it is. So, like, he's like watching this video cam footage, and you could like hear like pelvis hit cheeks. Like this. Yeah, it's brutal, but it's also fantastic TV.
God, I've never seen that.
It's amazing. Like, and I haven't watched the whole episode. I just watched like whatever highlights get flicking from like
Yeah.
TikTok or Instagram. I think that's how I understand it.
Yeah.
But I do everything I possibly can to understand.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you start to want to have like an information diet to those things you can talk about with different guests or whatever. That's what I heard Mr. B say. Like he hires people to have an information diet.
For him.
So they all kind of absorb stuff, then they filter it down, and then he gets like the stuff from them that's like fine tuned to exactly what he would want to know the most. And that's
So
great.
he's like a human version of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So he has intelligence.
Yeah, like real intelligence. Yeah, like an algorithm that's he's like a human kind of algorithm, you know?
Yeah.
Sort of, I guess.
So he's outsourcing his like interests.
How do you run it back against those Paul guys, I wonder?
How do I run it back against Logan? Or Jake as well. Get Jake involved as well.
Dude, I would fucking if I saw those people in my dreams, I would beat the shit out of them.
That's a good copy. That's a very good copy. Now Logan needs to get it back. Logan needs to get some get back. That's the reality. You can't come into my place and do that, obviously. But Jake, I don't even know if Jake's gonna be involved in wrestling. He's doing his boxing thing.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens. I don't know. You never know. You never know with these things.
Yeah.
What about you? You gonna get involved in some wrestling?
I don't know, dude. I thought about trying to wrestle one of those guys. I would have to really stretch and focus on fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I would really stretch and focus.
Or you could just get dragged through the ring like I did. Not working fitness at all. You know what's the craziest part of that scene? I got dragged over the banister, ragdolled on the ground, rolled into the ring, bent over and put into a suplex. This other dude, AJ, saves me. After Logan leaves, I jumped on the top rope. Like I did something. I think I'm the first person in history to just get my ass kicked and still go on the top rope. That's so great.
But it really goes back to exactly what we were saying earlier. If all people see is that clip of you on the top rope, they're like, this guy won.
So I'm like, I might never do this again. Am I going to not jump on the top rope? Come on. I got to tell my daughter something.
That's classic, man. Have you thought about over the years of moving out of New York? I know you were talking about the taxes and stuff in there. And
Yeah, I don't know.
it's
Like,
pricey. Have you ever thought about going down to Austin? Did you ever think about that?
not living there. No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, like, look, it's fucking incredible what Joe's done down there. Like, it's incredible.
It's kind of crazy that it almost feels sometimes like another it definitely feels like another new center of comedy, which they didn't have 5 years
I
ago.
can't believe I'm going to say what I'm saying right now. Because obviously, with New York guys, we're incredibly biased about stand-up. We're like the best stand-ups in New York, and this is where you come, you got to make your phones, this is what you got to do. And then the idea was, okay, but if you want to become like famous, you can go to LA, because that's what the industry is. Somebody's going to pop into a comedy store, they're going to see you, you'll be famous. That's at least like the hope or the dream, somewhere, right? But as of right now, if you're a young comic, right, what is your pathway to success in LA? If you're a young comic, what's your pathway to success in LA? Perception doesn't mean you can't happen, in LA or New York. Like, what shows can you get on that eventually you become famous? Because I know if I'm a young comic and I can manage to get on Kill Tony and become a regular, I'm selling out theaters around the country. These guys are selling real tickets. If I get into Joe's world and I'm able to go on the podcast a bunch and maybe we go on the road, like, I'm getting a career. I mean, to me, it's like we need to start building some infrastructure in New York so these guys feel like there's a pathway to selling tickets. And that's not just New York, that's LA too. Those days of just like getting a role in a movie and then you sell tickets are done. You doing a TV show one-off and then you sell, but you don't just sell tickets. You need to be like ingratiating yourself to the people who are stand-up comedy, if you want to say stand-up comedy tickets. So I don't begrudge any comic who's like, I want to move to Austin because I feel like that's where the thing is happening. Especially if you just moved to New York or LA to make it. I'm from New York, like born and raised in New York. So like moving to another city is like leaving my whole family, my friend group. It's like
You're
you're
not
not
in the world. Oh, there you go. That's why I thought something like that.
Yo, my God, I do kind of look like that motherfucker.
Diego Pena, what's his name?
Man,
Diego Garcia?
he looks ugly next to Christian Bale. And he's not even that ugly, bro. I'm saying he looks like me. So I can't be insulting him that much, but Christian Bale is one fucking handsome guy.
Well, then imagine the state is another even
Wait a minute,
less.
did he AI my face on today?
I did. This is Facebook.
God damn, bro. I look ugly next to Christian Bale. That motherfucker is handsome. Look at Bruce Wayne right there. Dude.
God.
Nah, he's a stud.
Oh,
He's a stud. Yeah.
and I'm worse looking than you, so the tough part is it only goes another step down here.
You know, how fucked up is that me insulted him before I knew it was me? Like, isn't that's insanity right there. Like,
I mean, it's the.
where's my self-esteem at?
Don't come here for it. I've built this railroad on low self-esteem, dude. Have you ever heard of the low self-esteem engine?
No, I mean,
That's run on these tracks for years, dude. I mean, we're picking up steam, but
oh god.
what are we talking about?
Oh, there's the scene. So it's just like, I imagine
Oh, yeah, the scene.
I mean, think about it, like, obviously we're in different positions, right? Like we're in a different part of our career where we can
Right, we're not
really
coming outside of the beginning of our career.
Exactly. So, but if you were young and you're like, my pathway to success, like what? If you go to LA, what shows do you get on to eventually make it? Like, what is your
Right. Well, there's a couple things. One, you can get a lot of, there's a lot of influencers and stuff out here. So there's a lot of social media influencers. That stuff is real out here. There's movie stars that live out here, and there's television shows. But I don't know if a lot of stuff still shoots in LA, which is kind of crazy. Like, even whenever we shot this little movie with Spade there, we're like, they're like, thank you, people are like, thank you guys so much.
working here?
We haven't had work in months. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I don't know who shoots what, you know? They're like, yeah, like, in Hollywood, you haven't had work in months? And then, yeah, I guess there's nothing shooting here, which seems crazy that we build an industry where then nothing even shoots within it, you know? Like, at a certain point, you can't cut every corner. Like, okay, we're going to shoot out of state to get a tax break. And
But
then,
the tax incentives are really big. You can shoot up in Canada. You can shoot up over in Atlanta. Like, the tax incentives are huge to go shoot these places.
why we helping them match them, it seems like.
I think like it's just like we were saying, like politics is always downriver from culture. So
Yeah.
they're gonna have to learn the hard way. They're gonna have to see the industry actually start to be negatively impacted, like for a while, and then they're gonna have to vote out whoever's in power with that kind of influence. But LA thrives on Hollywood. Like there isn't LA without Hollywood. Like that's the industry.
That's true. I guess then it's kind of like Barcelona or something in a way. You know, some cool museums and it's beautiful.
We don't even know you guys have museums. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like somebody told me that they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna spend some time in museums. I was like, you got museums out here? Like I thought you had that observatory ship that's up on the hill, and that's it.
Yeah.
We don't know that you have like the theater. Like do you have plays that come out of LA?
I have no idea.
Like can you watch Hamilton in LA?
I don't know. It's a good question. Well, we don't really have that district like the theater district that New York has. I mean, Danny McBride was saying this the other day. He goes, you know, I've always been kind of amazed that LA doesn't like historicize itself better as a structure. It's like when you go down the street here, you should be every other building should be. This is where
This was filmed. This
right.
is yeah.
This is where Sidney Poitier lived the first 3 years that he lived in this apartment. Like, you know, like these buildings we've kept them because they're and some of it is still the same because you know you don't have enough wear and tear from the elements here. Outside of like the fires or something, you don't have just like the constant salt in the air that we have in a lot of places. But overall, it's like yeah, I'm just kind of amazed that you don't go down the street and every other building is historical for some reason.
Bro, I think that's a fantastic point because that is the coolest thing about LA Hollywood. It's like old Hollywood culture. Like there's that hotel, the Sunset Tower or whatever, and like it has this cool restaurant that feels like old
Oh
Hollywood.
yeah, it's cool, man.
It's some fancy bougie shit, but it still feels like I can imagine directors in like the '60s.
Yeah,
You know,
it's, man.
you know what is that? What is that fucking girl with the air blowing her dress up?
Oh, Shirley Temple or whatever.
Marilyn Monroe.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
I like that stricken Well, dude, I'll tell you something. Here's the number one place, and I'm sorry.
Who's the girl where her dress was blown up? Shirley Temple.
I don't know, it's LA. I didn't think be a child, honestly.
Come on.
Dude, when people come to visit me, the one place that I take them every time, literally as a tourist stop, is a cemetery that's near my apartment in Westwood that has Marilyn Monroe's grave in it, Hugh Hefner, Errol Flynn,
Oh, wow.
Carol O'Connor,
Oh, geez.
the guy from Bad Grandpa or whatever. Walter Backhouse in there. It's just like you just show them like this. You know, that's kind of the neatest thing, I think.
I think it's a great point because there is cool historical shit about LA, but you gotta embrace it and then protect it. And I think that maybe it's just such a new city they don't see the value in it. Like you and I are from very kind of like old places in terms of like American history, not world history, but like there's a lot of history in. I'm gonna give you more. I know you're not from New Orleans, but like just this idea of there's like and it's important to us to maintain that. We actually like the way that the buildings look. When a new fancy building goes up in New York, there's always this immediate rejection. Like, these fucking flag, there goes the neighborhood, or whatever it is. So we try to protect, and I feel like LA is so transient. Like, everybody that comes here is coming from Maine or coming from, Montana or some shit like that to go make it. So they don't really care that much about the history. They're like, what's going on now? But the people from here, like Dove, like the people who actually grew up here, and like that is the industry. Yeah, I would like to see that protected. That's a great point. And then there's another version of you coming out here that sound like a TMZ tour bus tour, whatever that stupid shit is. Like, this is the Rock's house. It's like, nah, go see where fucking Sidney Poitier lived, or go see where these historic actors, like, what's his face's first apartment, Jack Nicholson's first apartment.
So cool. They had that in Stone. They had it like really locked in. Dude, the founder of Canes, this guy Todd Graves.
Yeah.
He still has his college apartment that was right next door to the first Canes that's in Baton Rouge. You go in there, dude, and it is crazy. It's like, it's from 30 years ago, or 22 years ago or something. It's just like old TV.
He's maintained everything.
Maintained all sitting there. Pictures from back then and shit. His life got busy, and so he just wasn't there for like 8 years. And then he came back, and it's just like magazines with like Jordan, Shaq. Just
he's a beast, that guy.
Yeah, he stays so busy. He works really hard. I think
he owns all of the Canes still, right? This is not a franchise restaurant. I think he owns. It's unbelievably impressive. And maybe because I'm from New York, we just got one. There's one that just popped up in East Village. But, like, I was talking to a buddy of mine who's actually, like, one of his lawyers. And he was kind of explaining it to him. It's like, this guy's, like, a real ambitious, like, kind of genius. To put that together, it's very hard to not sell off your company as it becomes successful. To have that vision, like, I don't know if you're like this, but if I'm building something that's successful and then someone offers me $300 million for it, I'm like, there's some people are crazy enough to go, no, this shit is really worth $2 billion. I'm like, $2 billion? What is $2 billion? Like, what is that money even? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are people that say no to $1 billion because they know it could be worth $5. Isn't that crazy?
Easy.
What do you need that for?
Yeah.
Like, you can tap out of whatever you're doing. Maybe they really love what they're doing. Maybe that's it.
But then you just sell it and get locked in as a consultant or whatever.
Yeah, I guess you could, but maybe they would hate that. Maybe like they're like, it's my genius that drives this car.
It's like that rigor mortis, whatever, the Frank River made Frankenstein, or the doctor or whatever. He wanted to die with Frankenstein. He's like, I think that's what happened. What happened with Frankenstein? I fucking remember.
It was Dr. Frankenstein, but it was the creature.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That we think that Frankenstein is is the lifeless animal. But it was actually the doctor.
Imagine how he feels. He's like, hey, my name's Rick, It's like, nobody fucking... I'm fucking Rick Hopkins, I had frontal lobe surgery. Give me some, goddamn. It's so true. It still goes back to, you see a clip of something.
You just believe it.
You just believe it, yeah. That motherfucker's name is not even Frank.
It's called Creature, which is way more adept, right? Like, that feels like the name for it, but not.
But at least that's his name. Oh, God, dude.
Yeah, shout out Frankenstein.
Yeah, dude. How's the Trump thing going over in New York, dude?
know what's so interesting is like,
It was crazy how right after the election was over, everybody's kind of went on about regular life.
bro, it's and like now I'm almost like annoyed by it. Like I thought we weren't gonna have to go through this again. Like I don't know how it is like here where you're living, but we're back to like the bipartisan bickering. You know, like this Doge is a big deal, right? Even though there's no American that wants like waste, there's no American that wants like government bloat, there's no American that wants like inefficiency. I don't think any of us are like voting for those three things.
Yeah.
So this should be like unilateral support. Like we should all get behind it. And maybe the way that they're doing, I think Trump even came out and said, yo, we're gonna use a scalpel, not a hatchet. Like I think we're being a little bit too forceful with the firings or whatever. But this is one of those things where like it's so annoying. And I think you can blame Elon for this as well. Like on Twitter, he's a little bit antagonistic about
Yeah,
shit.
I
Like,
noticed that recently. Some of the stuff he says, like, you have to say that. Like,
you don't
what
have
are you
to.
doing right there?
You're in power now. Like I think you have to have a little bit different energy when you're in power. I think when you're not in power, you're trying to get to power. Maybe that antagonism is helpful, right? It can
Yeah.
like embolden the base. But you're the leader now. Leaders don't need to poke a finger and like twist a knife or whatever. Like
Well, I think what he's doing, I believe that what Elon is doing is by creating all that commotion on Twitter, it's only helping his own business, right? So it creates now that everyone wants to see what he's going to say, but he's saying so many things, it's hard to even juggle. But so many people are engaging and interacting.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably the #1 news app. I don't know if it's always been the #1 news app.
has to be.
Um,
It has to be. That's
But-
why. Yeah. I mean, don't you
but
learn
he's just
everything?
stirring his own business. It's like,
Yeah.
so the more he does that, it's more impressions, the more ads that he can sell, right? I don't know if that's true.
But you're basically creating a place for people to go consume content in general. And if he's the biggest creator on that platform, then it makes sense that he continues to create. So you're saying that he's not doing this just to get out information, but he's also doing this to like uplift the app.
It's like a hype machine, yeah.
Oh wow, that's
I don't
that's
know
what
if
it
that's
takes.
true.
But that's what the feeling you get from it.
I'm at least, because otherwise, it's kind of, some of the shit's kind of insane. It's like, what is this, like, how is he doing all of these things? And if he's not doing all these things, because who could have time, then who is doing it?
And it's kind of annoying because he's a genius. You want him on your side. Like I want the guy who makes the rockets on America's side if we
Yeah.
go to World War III.
Right.
Like I think that's a pretty good idea that we get the guy who's gonna send a ship to Mars on our side if
Yeah.
we're gonna have like drone warfare throughout the world. Like let's keep him in our good graces. I do think, and I'm a little bit more optimistic about this administration. That's what I've realized with most people, like sane people, is that if you didn't vote for Trump, but you're not like a complete like lunatic extremist on both sides, by the way. If you're just kind of like a normal regular guy, but you feel like you lean left a little bit more, you just are pessimistic about the administration. And if you lean maybe right a little bit more, but you're not something insane like right-wing quack, you're optimistic about the administration. We both kind of want the same thing. We want the best thing for American people.
Right.
We might disagree about where we get there, but we do want the most opportunity, wealth, ease of living for American people. So when it comes to administration, I'm like a little bit more optimistic about it. Like I'm like, okay, let's just see how this works.
Right, that's how I feel.
Let's just give them a. People are going, oh, he's doing all these tariffs. It's like, my man, I'm not an economist. I know you aren't an economist. I don't know if this is a negotiation. Like if you go to buy a car and the car is like $100 grand, and you go in, you go, all right, I'm gonna offer 80 grand, right? Knowing that they're gonna settle around 90, right? The problem is when you do that in privacy with the car dealer. Trump got to do it publicly, and now he's got people in his own country going, "How dare you offer 80? That's so disrespectful." And he can't come out and go, "Dumbass, we're gonna settle at 90. I just got to start at 80. So could you give me fucking 2 weeks to
Yeah,
get
they don't
here?"
give him nobody gives him a beat to see what the long-term plan is. Like, if you want manufacturing jobs back in America, and you have to make it so that it makes more sense for people to make cars in America.
Maybe.
That's just
Yeah.
business. Like, I agree with you. I never was against Biden. I've never been against anybody that's been in office. I've always just wanted the best. It's like, I want the best. I'm never going to depend on the government for my life. Like, I don't wake up every day and see what the fucking government's doing. I get out of bed and I should try and take care of myself, or take care of your family like you're doing. It's like, that's probably what most people think.
Yeah.
Anybody that has time to argue online all day is also insane, right? Like, I'm not saying that we don't all put our beliefs out there sometimes, but
I hear what you're saying.
it's like, you have to, like, that's that's one thing somebody said the other night. Oh, Trump said it during that whole like state of the whatever the delegacy address.
Yeah.
It was a state of the two parties address. But if you get to watch the hour and a half that, I don't care what side of this side or whatever.
I
Like,
bumped into Al Green at breakfast club. He was going on after me, and someone's like, "Hey, he wants to." Hey, Al Green wants to say hello. I was like, "Yeah, sure, that'd be cool." This guy just got chucked out of the fucking Senate, you know. And I went, I go, I shake it, and like his like camera or something like that is like waiting there with like a camera like top tier for the handshake picture. And I was like, did I just get set up in a photo op to make me look sympathetic to what happened? Like, I'm like, what exactly is going on?
that's
You know?
crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's also scary when everybody has cameras everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that was Jimmy Snuka, which makes total sense as well.
Yeah.
I think it still think it was.
What a
dude.
body, huh?
Let's get it on. Was that was outrageous? Let's get home.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so it's a tricky time now politically.
But I just feel like, yeah, you kind of hope, like, hopefully there's some long-term strategy here. It's like, because if you just look at the little bits, it's kind of fucking scary.
Also, and I'm not trying to just like bag on the last administration, but like if people are uncomfortable and the last administration was running on this platform of, hey, we're gonna keep doing the same thing that we've been doing, you can't really blame Americans for going, well, that's not working for me right now. I gotta try something different.
Yeah.
And then giving the new thing a little bit of leeway. It's not like, again, I might be more optimistic. And if it goes bad, I will be the first person to criticize it. Right? I have no problem criticizing whoever's in power.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the easiest thing in the fucking world for me. But I am hoping, I'm at least gonna give it a little bit of grace. I'm hoping that this is gonna work out for all of us. And I'm gonna give it more than a fucking few months. I'm gonna give it a little bit to see where it goes. And if it does go, I'm not gonna be the guy that told you so, you fucking idiot. Like, because that's not the joy that it brings me. The joy it brings me is like, hey, shit, we're actually making some cool changes.
Right, America's going to be doing better.
We got opportunity to, start here and get up here.
Imagine if you brought some industries back where people have pride in their homes and in their towns, dude. I'll tell you this, we've gone on this tour, I've been to probably 200, the top 200 cities so far,
Yeah.
size-wise, right?
Yeah.
We've gone fucking everywhere. And a lot of the places, man, it's the same. It's like, there's not a lot of businesses there. There's some cities that have kind of changed and had some turnaround and it's been uplifting, but there's been a lot of places that it hasn't, you know? And it's sad. It's like, oh, all this place needs is one good, like, influx of people and a purpose, you know? When people have jobs, they have purpose. Yeah, and so it's like, I'm for surely gonna stay hopeful. I hope that if there's some tariff stuff and then we start making our own fucking cars here, dude, there's a guy who just made a show, a t-shirt, I think it's called American Giant. Can you look that up? There's a guy, he wanted to find a t-shirt that was made in America, American Giant clothing. He couldn't even get a t-shirt.
It was completely made here.
He couldn't get a whatever this is called, a template or a blank in America. He couldn't, they didn't have it, right? We don't make a fucking t-shirt in this company, right? So,
Don't they make Teslas here?
yes.
Like,
So Teslas are an American made.
so like, maybe American, other American cars, right? Like, I don't think Ford is entirely made here.
Right.
I might be wrong. I don't think that.
You drive Poland, somebody said to me. I'm like, that's when I knew. I'm like, hold on. How's this guy know how to pronounce it?
Swedish guy?
But that's a great question. Let's look that up. Yeah, what cars are made here? Or what percentage of Teslas are made in America? What percentage of Fords are made in America? That's a great question, man.
And I guess that, you could be putting together the full car here, but maybe there's like certain factors that do another stuff. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with outsourcing to different countries. I think it gives them opportunities as well. That's a cool thing. But
Tesla claims that nearly 100% of the vehicles it sells in the United States are manufactured domestically.
exceeding the industry average of 52%. Wow. Now, that doesn't mean they don't make cars in other countries as well,
Right.
but the ones that are so here. Regardless, okay? If we want to attack in a car company, right? And again, I don't know if they're attacking Tesla because they don't like the product. They're attacking Tesla because they don't like the CEO of the company.
Yeah.
And that is the risk of being a celebrity CEO. By the way, there's like CEOs of, and you talk about this all the time, but like some of these like pharmaceutical companies, we don't know who the fuck they are.
Right.
And there's a reason. Because if we did,
It would. something could happen.
Something could happen.
We don't know.
Something could happen. Like,
Somebody could throw him a surprise party.
bro, if you have $1 billion business and nobody knows who you are, you're doing some fucked up shit,
I'm doing some fuck shit, man.
right?
Fuck shit, man. We did.
So this is like a kind of shitty situation where, like, yes, I understand that he's antagonizing people, he's like rubbing people the wrong way. You don't like the guy, you don't like the beliefs, you don't like what he's doing, and there are things to criticize. I'm not saying there aren't things to criticize. Nobody's above criticism, but to punish that car company that is 100% made in America, made by people living in America, Americans rely on those jobs. Like, maybe we criticize another thing.
Right.
Like, what is your goal? If we shut down those factories and those Americans lose those jobs, that makes you feel better about your gripe with Elon?
That's the thing. Some people they just want to win an argument. It feels like, you know.
They don't
sometimes.
There's people that rely on those fucking jobs.
Oh, for sure,
They
dude.
got kids, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude. There's no doubt about it. But here's one thing that I think is sad about Doge is that the fact that we now have to have someone audit our own government. Our government is supposed to be the thing that we can trust. Like, it will never end now. And people are like, well, why is this guy having a team that audits it? Like, I agree, but I'll let anybody audit. If we bring on another company, they audit and they find, I'd give them 10% of the bloat that they find. If they, you know what I'm saying? The simple fact that we now have to audit our own government.
Yeah, I mean, people I think will gravitate towards corruption naturally, and I think it's something you constantly have to fight every single second.
Yeah, you definitely have to.
You said something interesting though, like this idea, like you wake up every morning, you're like, I don't expect the government to do something for me. I think that's a more like southern frontier belief. You know, I think that like when you grow up in like New York, there is this relationship with the government where like if the roads are fucked up, you start going, yo, why the roads fucked up? Like we're spending all this money in taxes, or like the government you're supposed to do, you're giving me all these rules I gotta live by, so you might as well do some shit. But that's interesting that you have this perspective, which is like, I don't expect anything from you guys. And I wonder if when they encroach on your freedoms, it's that much more annoying because you're like, I don't rely on you for everything, and you're gonna tell me what to do?